What if the most dangerous man in the world wasn't a terrorist, wasn't a soldier, and wasn't a monster? What if he was just a scientist with a plan? This is the story of Albert Wesker, and by the end of this video, you will understand why he is one of the greatest villains in gaming history. Albert Wesker was not born evil, he was made that way. In the 1960s, Umbrella Corporation, the most powerful pharmaceutical company in the world, was secretly running a eugenics program. They were selecting children with exceptional genetics, brilliant minds, perfect bodies, the future of humanity, they called them. Wesker was one of those children. He was taken from his parents as a child and placed under the care of Oswell E. Spencer, the founder of Umbrella himself. Spencer believed that ordinary humans were inferior, that evolution needed a push, and Wesker, along with dozens of other children, was raised and trained to become something more than human. Most of those children didn't survive the experiments. Wesker did. By the time he was an adult, Wesker had become one of Umbrella's most brilliant researchers, cold, calculating, emotionless. He worked alongside a man named William Birkin, another prodigy, another product of Spencer's program. Together, they were the future of Umbrella's viral research. But Wesker had already started planning his betrayal. Because Wesker didn't want to serve Umbrella, he wanted to use it. He secretly made contact with a rival organization, one that would later become known as the Rival Agency working against Umbrella. His goal? To steal Umbrella's most valuable research and use it for his own agenda. And to do that, he needed the perfect cover. He became a cop. Wesker joined the Raccoon City Police Department and quickly rose through the ranks. But this was never about justice. It was a positioning move. He was eventually recruited into STARS, Special Tactics and Rescue Service, as the unit's captain. His team trusted him completely. That was their biggest mistake. In 1998, STARS was sent to investigate a series of bizarre murders near Raccoon City. Cannibalistic attacks, bodies torn apart. Wesker knew exactly what was causing them. Umbrella's bioweapons escaped from a secret underground laboratory beneath the Spencer mansion. He sent his team in, knowing they would die. They were bait. What followed was the nightmare inside the Spencer mansion. His team, Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, and the others, fought for their lives against zombies, mutated monsters, and biological horrors that should never have existed. Wesker watched, collected data, and waited. But something went wrong with his plan. His team survived. Cornered and exposed, Wesker made a decision that would change everything. He injected himself with an experimental prototype virus, one he had been secretly developing. A virus designed not to kill, but to evolve. Then he let the Tyrant, Umbrella's most powerful bioweapon, impale him through the chest. To everyone watching, Albert Wesker was dead. He was not. The virus brought him back, but not as the man he was before. Wesker was now superhuman. Regeneration, superhuman speed and strength, enhanced senses. He had become exactly what Spencer always dreamed of creating, the next step in human evolution. Except now, Wesker answered to no one. Over the next several years, Wesker moved through the shadows. He worked for different organizations, always manipulating, always advancing his own agenda. He collected viruses, he sold bioweapons, he built power, and he kept a very close eye on Chris Redfield, the one man who had survived his plan and refused to stop hunting him. The next major clash came during the Rockfort Island incident, a prison facility connected to Umbrella attacked by a mysterious organization. There, Wesker crossed paths with Claire Redfield, Chris's sister, and with a woman named Ada Wong, who would become one of his most valuable and unpredictable allies. He also came face to face with Steve Burnside and a creature that was once someone important. But the real prize at Rockford Island was something else entirely. It was the discovery of the original Spencer estate in Antarctica, and inside it, a sample of the most powerful virus Umbrella had ever created. Wesker took it. Of course he did. Every piece was falling into place. But what was the end game? Wesker's plan was not simple revenge. It was not money or power in the traditional sense. Wesker believed that humanity was weak, stagnant, that evolution had stopped. His plan was to release a virus, Ouroboros, across the entire world, a global extinction event that would kill most of humanity and leave only those with the right genetics alive. A new world, a new species, with Wesker at the top. In 2009, Chris Redfield and Shiva Alomar tracked Wesker to Africa, where he was preparing the final stage of his plan. What followed was one of the most intense confrontations in Resident Evil history. Wesker was faster, stronger, nearly impossible to stop, but he had made one critical mistake. The virus that gave him his power required precise doses of a specific suppressant to keep it stable. Too little, and he would lose control. Too much, and it would destroy him. Chris and Shiva managed to inject him with a massive overdose. Wesker's powers became unstable. His body began to break down. He dragged Chris and Shiva into a volcano, literally a volcano. Even with his body failing, he fought them inside an erupting volcano, surrounded by lava, still convinced he was superior. Chris and Shiva hit him with rocket launchers, two of them, into the lava. Albert Wesker was finally dead, but his legacy didn't die with him. The viruses he collected, the organizations he built, the research he left behind, all of it continued to shape the world of Resident Evil for years after his death. And the question Spencer never got to answer, the question Wesker himself never fully answered, Where'd remains. Was he the next step in human evolution, or just a man who wanted to play God and paid the price? That's the story of Albert Wesker, one of gaming's most iconic villains, a man who was engineered to be perfect and used that perfection to try to end the world. If you want more Resident Evil lore, subscribe, because we're just getting started.